Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Farzy Show, presented by Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. Coming to you live from the Steven Singer Studios, as we do every day live at 6 a.m. Today, a little late. It's about 6:07 in the morning right now. And the reason is I can hear every engineer I've ever heard in the history of radio and television ever tell me, and now digital platform, tell me, shouldn't be drinking in the studio. And as much as I'd like to say that by drinking I meant Jack Daniels, but something tells me I wouldn't spill my Jack Daniels like I just spilled my triple shot of espresso all over the place. All over the place. Keyboard, phone, screen, whatever that does, that machine that glows when I talk, whatever. So, hey, if you like to see things sparking during the show, then this might be right up your alley. So there you go. That'll be fun. But welcome in nonetheless, everybody. We got some things to discuss. Matisse Thybulle might not be eligible for the Sixers if they end up drawing the Toronto Raptors, which they would, right now in the playoffs. So that's fun to talk about. We have the Phillies mashing in Tampa. Bryce Harper with 2 home runs. Mickey Moniak taking care of business as well. Ranger Suarez making a play in the field. And the Phillies they start their season tomorrow. And who better to talk to than one of the best possible people to inspire you during a baseball season? None other than the great Dan Baker will join us today to talk about his opening day experience and what he's going to be doing tomorrow to celebrate. Now, get this. This is amazing. Dan doesn't count the COVID year as one of his seasons because there was nothing there. Like, it was such a shortened season. I didn't do enough, so it doesn't count. This year is Dan Baker's 50th season doing games for the Philadelphia Phillies. Started way back when, 1973 at Veterans Stadium, and now is getting it underway one more time, at least by the PA announcer for the Phillies. These changes, everybody's got these changes. The 2 best people that I know, obviously Joe Conklin and Dan Roach of NBC Sports Philadelphia. Booney, as we like to call him. So Dan Baker will join the show today to talk about his 50 years, what comes to mind when he thinks of 50 years with the Phillies being their PA announcer, the memories he has, what he thinks of this team. And I'll tell you right now, Dan thinks this team is going to smash, which is awesome. He also gives us our first taste of Dan Baker saying Nick Castellanos. Chef's kiss. Just so it just feels, just to say it feels so good. To hear him say it, I guarantee you when we play it for you, it's going to sound even better. And as I said, he's a kind man, he's a funny man, he likes to have fun. Dan Baker will thank some of our 1,000 TikTok followers. That's right, folks. Remember a couple of weeks ago we told you about a TikTok account. Boom, all of a sudden, we're up to 1,000. I think it was, last I checked, 1,114 or something. Dan Baker, as only Dan Baker can, thanks you for following us on TikTok. I didn't figure the 2 things went together really well. Dan Baker, TikTok, it just goes together. So that is later in the show when we interview Dan Baker. Let's talk about Matisse Thybulle for a second here. The phrase, "this is why we can't have nice things," jumps to mind. Matisse Thybulle apparently can't play in Toronto now. Because allegedly it says that he is ineligible to play tonight when the Sixers take on the Raptors in the 3rd to last game of the regular season. You have to be fully vaccinated to play in Canada. So now the speculation is that Matisse Thybulle is not fully vaccinated and cannot play in Canada. Now, the rules are if Matisse Thybulle then gets pressure or Matisse Thybulle changes his mind for whatever reason, he wouldn't be eligible to play for another 10 days. So that is a bit of an issue, especially, like I said, if the Sixers do, in fact, draw the Raptors in the first round of the playoffs. Matisse Thybulle would not be able to play if he waits any longer, would not be able to play in potentially three road games in that series in the playoffs. That's a big problem. It shouldn't be as big a problem as some people might make it out to be, but it's a big problem. You're talking about someone that could be Defensive Player of the Year. You're talking about somebody that's at least a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. You're talking about somebody that was a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year last year. And bottom line, you're talking about a starter in your, oh God, do I have to say it, rotation. Doc Rivers got to figure something else out now. By what, taking Danny Green off the bench because he was the runner-up on you're the next starter for the 76ers with James Harden and Joel Embiid and whatever is going to be the thing that works the best for these guys. Danny Green was the guy that a lot of people looked at and said, he should be starting over Thybulle anyway. Thybulle should be coming off the bench. I always think you should start your best five, and that's your best five. So for me, this is a huge conundrum for the 76ers. I'm vaccinated, so I think I wouldn't do something I thought everyone else should do. Oh, yeah, you should get vaccinated, but I shouldn't. Like, that's where I'm at on the subject. But if this is the case, this is a worse than a we can't have nice things type of feeling. This is a hexed type of feeling. This is a jinxed type of feeling. The fact that this comes out now is rather astonishing. The Sixers, of course, played Toronto earlier in the season. Two different times, I believe they've split in their matchups. But this is the last game that they would have actually in Toronto. I don't know how this comes out now, but ESPN went to the top 4 seeds last week in the Eastern Conference of the NBA, and ESPN asked them, are your teams fully vaccinated? Are your rosters fully vaccinated? The Celtics and the Sixers would not confirm as to whether or not their teams are fully vaccinated. So that's where we're at right now. I can't imagine that the Sixers, let's put it this way. I couldn't imagine the Sixers going into a situation in the playoffs where they don't have Matisse Thybulle. We have watched this team down the stretch have some struggles. We've watched this team down the stretch definitely try to get to know each other. We've talked about this team finding that good groove, that chemistry. Maybe this will end up being a blessing in disguise. Maybe they can come out of that Raptors series enough. Imagine you have Joel Embiid and James Harden, and then the Achilles heel is the fact you don't have Matisse Thybulle playing in 3 games on the road, potentially, because he's quote-unquote ineligible to play. Cool. But if this team's trying to figure out their chemistry, it doesn't help matters, bottom line, by not having one of your starters being able to play in any game, especially one of the last 3 of the season, and even more especially the 3 games that you'll be playing in Toronto if this does go to a Game 7 in the playoffs. That's just great when it comes to the overall chemistry. Now, maybe this will end up being a blessing in disguise. Maybe a guy like Danny Green gets run with the starting 5, and maybe he's able to figure out that chemistry because he's a veteran and he knows to just sit there on the wing more or less. And he's not a terrible defender. Wish he was a better 3-point shooter, certainly for that position. But right now, I'm just looking at this team saying, well, why now? Why now? Why when we're just about to make it into the playoffs? We're just about to watch this team play in the playoffs. Does a story like this have to come out and be a dark cloud over the end of what has been a pretty damn good season for the 76ers? So for me, I'm frustrated as just about anybody else is. I'm sure the Sixers are frustrated, and I know a lot of you guys are frustrated as well. Of all the people, I thought this wouldn't be Matisse Thybulle. Not that I was looking at a roster going, man, who's a player that potentially won't get vaccinated? But I'm just surprised that it was Thybulle, I guess, for whatever reason. I have no logic or reasoning behind it. I just didn't think it'd be Thybulle, I guess. So we'll see how that whole situation plays out. Like I said, coming up in a minute, we're going to talk to Dan Baker about all things Phillies. Phillies start their season coming up tomorrow against the Oakland A's of all teams. So that'll be a fun one, obviously. When we think about this season, I know the first thing we think about is the lineup. What I am, and I think what Dan Baker is going to make a point about coming up in just a second, is the starting rotation. We've talked about the bullpen, and it just feels like the Phillies bullpen, whatever the water fountain is spewing out there in the left center field, or center field for the Phillies. And every bullpen since Brad Lidge has been cursed, pretty much. And I'm hoping that this newly revamped bullpen will bear a lot of fruit. But one thing we haven't gotten into a lot is what the starting rotation can do. I have not been as high on Ranger Suarez as some people have been high on Ranger Suarez. But we have looked at Aaron Nola, and we all are hoping that he can get back to the close to Cy Young form that he had 3 years ago. I know we're looking at Zach Wheeler and hoping that a guy that pitched the most innings of anyone in Major League Baseball last year can bounce back from that. And that's just talk about curses. Apparently you can't do that in Major League Baseball. Lead the league in innings, and then all of a sudden you're back in business the next year, firing at all cylinders again. Man, that's too much for some people. And I don't say that sarcastically. I say that just to be the way that just seems to be the way it is in Major League Baseball now. Hopefully Zach Wheeler is not that guy. Hopefully this little slow start, maybe missing a start or two to start the season, is just, that's it. That's just what he needs to get ready, to get back in shape, whatever might get back on his schedule, get rid of any soreness he might have, and then for the rest of the year, he's dominating like he did last year. Then Zach Eflin is a question mark. He's a guy that the organization has always been high on, especially since Andy McPhail came in, especially Matt Klentak was high on him, of course, and now Dave Dombrowski, especially going into last year, was really high on what you could bring to the table with a guy like Zach Eflin. So hopefully he is living up to par of what the Phillies have set for him and how the Phillies have kind of talked him up. Ranger Suarez, to me, is a guy that the Phillies did what they have done with a lot of their position players. It's not as abnormal for a starting pitcher in the minors to come up and give you some bullpen help in the majors. That's not as uncommon, but I felt like the Phillies certainly bounced his position and his assignment around and his role around in the bullpen. Starting spring training as a starting pitcher and then going into the season as a starting pitcher in this rotation, I'm hoping is enough to kind of click that starter's mentality back for Ranger Suarez. If that's the case, it's all about just seeing a guy who had some decent numbers at the minor league level transfer that to the big league level. And that's just the basis of everybody coming up from the minors to the majors. I'm just hoping Ranger Suarez can be that guy. He can be a solid left-handed pitcher in this rotation, something the Phillies have had sparingly really over the last couple of years. And for me, if he's able to do that, and you're able to get a little bit of what you're expecting from Nola, from Wheeler, obviously Eflin, then you're going to have some pretty good arms in this rotation. Kyle Gibson is the guy that I think you can tab for the most inconsistent of all the guys that are going to be in this, from the five guys that are going to be in your rotation going into the season. He has been like that throughout his career. He was like that, especially when he came into the Phillies after the deadline last year and did not have himself the best September. Hopefully he can bounce back from that. Kyle Gibson is probably my biggest question mark in terms of that consistency. In terms of a guy that you're just not sure at all what you're going to get because he's an unknown as a starting pitcher at the big league level, that's Ranger Suarez. Everybody else, just pitch to your potential. Pitch to the level that we have seen you pitch at before, and we're not just going to be talking about a lineup that's mashing. We're going to be talking about a starting pitching rotation that, Wheeler, Nola, Eflin, these guys can put I don't want to face those three guys in the playoffs in the baseball. You do that, and people will start turning heads when it comes to your production overall as a ball club. So that's what I'm looking forward to, and hopefully that'll all come to fruition with your Philadelphia Phillies. Now, before we get to Dan Baker, because it is fantastic, I want to tell you guys about the amazing people of Destination Retirement and my man Mike Seibert. DestinationRetirement.com. Mike Seibert is a retirement income certified professional at Destination Retirement LLC, a partner of 1847 Financial and advisor for Eagles, Sixers, and Phillies fans only. Maybe next year, Flyers. When it comes to long-term savings, why are you giving up current enjoyment of your income? Don't do that. The answer is to have an income stream in retirement. It only makes sense that then to understand how to retire and how to get retirement income streams and how to get them to work for you, you need direct savings in ways that can give you the highest income when you retire. Think of climbing a mountain, for instance. You don't just climb the mountain and say, all right, I'm done. I'm just going to live up here. No, you got to save to get back down the mountain. You got to think of climbing the mountain as your accumulation years and then going back down the mountain as your distribution years. Enjoying yourself with how hard you worked. Going up that mountain, that's the accumulation. Two different phases of your financial life we just covered, and each should be addressed separately. This month, let's talk about college planning. We all know that college is expensive. Have you ever thought about how it would affect your retirement? Let Mike show you an effective way to help pay your kids' college and Also, retire on your own terms. Your first step is to avoid starting your growth cycle over by depleting accounts like 529s for big expenses like college. You don't want to lose your position on your growth scale or your growth cycle just so you can start over again. You can't get that time back. Instead, set yourself up with the ability to use vehicles that you can make money and take money out of without starting your growth cycle over again. Find out your annual retirement savings and how you can get your kids to college and use your kids' college savings for college and still use your own money for retirement. It's just that easy. Mike will set it up for you in your own portal and Retirement Analyzer, then use the software to help you navigate through the different phases of your financial life. For questions, to set up a meeting, Mike will take your email at gobirds@1847financial. That's gobirds@1847financial.com, or call his office at 484-275-6035. That's 484-275-6035. You can also visit the website at destinationretirement.com. That's destinationretirement.com. And as always, go Birds and play the song. Mother's Day, not that far away. Make sure you hit up my man Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, or right there on Jewelers Row, and online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. This year, for that mother, maybe your wife, the mother of your children, for instance, maybe they deserve a beautiful 24-karat gold-dipped rose. This year, the creamsicle. I mean, who doesn't want that? The thing's beautiful. Make sure you guys check it out at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com for this beautiful, guaranteed, lifetime guarantee, gold-dipped rose. A real rose dipped in 24-karat gold, starting at just $59. The perfect gift that lasts a lifetime. So do what I do when it comes to all your big jewelry purchases. When it comes to spoiling that special someone in your life or spoiling mom for Mother's Day, make sure you hit up IHateStevenSinger.com. Always fast and free shipping at IHateStevenSinger.com. Again, just $59 for a beautiful creamsicle gold dip rose from Steven Singer Jewelers. Can't wait any longer, folks. Got to talk to this man now. Joining us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line from your Philadelphia Phillies, celebrating 51 years at the Phillies, 50 seasons calling games as the PA announcer. The great Dan Baker joins us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. Joining us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line, we have been blessed with so many great guests, and this one tops the charts. One of my favorite people in Philadelphia, period. One of my favorite people to hear ever. The great Dan Baker, celebrating his 51st year with the Phillies, 50th season doing the games as their public address announcer. Dan Baker. What's up, Dan?
Mark, how are you today?
I am fantastic, and just hearing your voice makes me feel even better. It makes me feel like it truly is baseball season with the Phillies getting ready to play on Friday. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling very good. Of course, as you know, I've been through some health challenges. But thankfully, Mark, most of those medical issues are behind me now. A few little obstacles to overcome. But last year, I came back and was able to announce every single Phillies home game, all 81 home games. And if I do say so myself, performed at a pretty high level.
Absolutely. You're never not in mid-season form, my friend. No, just 51 seasons, but you're 50th calling it. Do you not count the one where, you weren't able, where there were either no fans or you just weren't able to participate?
Yes, Mark. This is such a milestone. To the best of my knowledge, there are only two other public address announcers in Major League history to have announced for 50 years or more. Pat Piper of the Chicago Cubs, 59 years at Wrigley Field from 1916 through 1974. And Bob Shepard of the New York Yankees at Yankee Stadium from 1951 through 2007, a total of 57 years. And as of this Friday, I will only be the third PA announcer who will have announced 50 years. Mm-hmm. And of course, I'm very proud of that. But what I was getting at, Mark, is I didn't want to accept this privilege and like half-baked, like if I didn't earn it,
Right.
And I didn't see in 2020 when I had a 24-hour surgery to remove a squamous cell carcinoma from my maxillary sinus, which had also invaded my bone. That was the year that, because of the pandemic, the season was shortened to just 60 games, 30 home games. Now, I did announce 4 summer camp games and 1 exhibition game between the Phillies and the Baltimore Orioles, but I didn't think that was sufficient to lay claim to announcing entire season. So this is something, Mark, that I wanted to earn fair and square. So here I am.
You're incredible. In the on the field comparison to this, that's like when Ted Williams was batting over 400 and still batted in the last game of the season and only hit 406. Like, he wanted to earn 400 and he ended up doing it tenfold. You, sir, from the booth, are doing, as far as I'm concerned, the exact same thing.
Well, that's a high compliment, Mark. You're very kind. I think too kind.
It's amazing what you're doing.
Thank you. I love it. Mark, I am so energized when I get to the ballpark. I think my coworkers, the fans would tell you. I mean, when I get into that baseball park and I see the green grass and the blue skies, and you see the players on the field, and the sights, the sounds, the smells of the ballpark, the food on Ashburn Alley emanating from the concession stands, the excitement in people's voices, the happiness of being at a baseball game, a Phillies baseball game. And, it's something I've grown up with, and you've grown up with, and all of us in the Delaware Valley, I think, are so privileged with all of our sports teams.
Certainly. And yes, I've grown up here. I've been very fortunate for that. When I think of Citizens Bank Park, when I think of going to ball games at the Vet still, I think of, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And I think of the great Dan Baker. When you think back over 51 years, 50 seasons now, what jumps to mind about your career with the Philadelphia Phillies?
Well, not only do I love announcing Phillies games, but Mark, for me, and for all of us in this business, you need some help along the way. And when Bill Giles hired me as the Phillies PA announcer in the fall of 1971, that was following the first year that the Phillies played baseball at Veterans Stadium, to start April of 1972. I was no longer Dan Baker. Who's that? I never heard of him. I was Dan Baker, the Phillies announcer. Well, that opened doors that allowed me eventually to do the Philadelphia Eagles public address announcing, to do Big Five basketball, radio and television play-by-play, and become executive secretary of the Big Five, to eventually do Drexel basketball, to do play-by-play for Temple football and Penn football, to also do the PA for the Army-Navy football game, which I have done since that Gridiron Classic moved to Lincoln Financial Field in 2003. So I met my wife, Kathy, at the Phillies. She actually started there before I did. She was in sales and marketing from 1971, the Phillies' first year at the Vet. I started in 72, the second year. Both of our children, Darren and Courtney, worked at Veterans Stadium during their college years. And so, I just owe so much to them. And as I said, being there and the visibility that it created for me opened many other doors. So I have so much to be thankful to the Phillies for.
You're just incredible. You really are. And when you think back over those 50 years and all your accomplishments, one of the first things apparently jumps to your mind is just the family connection and then the family atmosphere that you've been able to enjoy in Philadelphia. It really is an incredible thing, Dan.
Thank you, Mark. I have met so many nice people along the way. Of course, the Phillies have been so good. and really throughout Philadelphia sports, and I saw, Fran Dunphy was named the LaSalle coach yesterday, a good friend. So happy for Fran. My heavens, what he's accomplished as the head coach of Penn men's basketball, Temple men's basketball, replacing a legend in John Chaney. Wow, that's a tough act to follow. And Fran did it magnificently. And now here he is at LaSalle where he played. Mm-hmm. And if I'm not mistaken, Fran has his undergraduate degree from LaSalle, his master's from Villanova. So you talk about Mr. Big Five. Well, of course, I love Big Five basketball and Drexel basketball. I cherish the 15 years that I was at Drexel University from 1997 through 2012, and working with Bill Hurrian and Steve Seymour and Bruiser Flint there, and Zach Spiker. And as you know, Mark, we meet so many fabulous people in this business and great athletes. And is there a better sports city anywhere than Philadelphia?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And speaking of that, I mean, I don't have to tell you the electricity that runs through Citizens Bank Park when it feels like the Phillies are going to do something special. And this year, it feels like with Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos, this lineup, the reigning MVP and Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto on the lineup. You got young guys coming north with the ball club. There's going to be that electricity again with this ball club. Hopefully, Nola has a good year. Hopefully, you have Zach Wheeler having a good year. All that. What is it like for you to know that anticipation and that excitement is going to be there from jump at CBP?
Oh, I love it. It's going to remind me of our golden eras, like 2007 through 2011, going back to the mid-'70s into the early '80s, the Schmidt, Luzinski, Boa, Carlton years. They were great. And, of course, the 07 to 11 run with Ryan Howard and Chase Utley and Jimmy Rollins and Cole Hamels, Roy Halladay, the last couple of those years. It is so exciting down there. And, like that 07 to 11 run, Mark, we were never out of the Phillies were never out of a ball game. There was so much thunder in that lineup. Well, this lineup is going to be one of the best hitting Phillies teams of all time. We may have 4 players with 30 or more home runs. You look at it, Bryce Harper could do it. Nick Castellanos could do it. Kyle Schwarber could do it. Rhys Hoskins could do it. I mean, one guy could have an off night. You got 3 or 4 other horses. And then you're going to see up and down the lineup, other guys are going to be helped out with all these. There'll be less pressure on Didi Gregorius. Don't be surprised to see him bounce back after a bad year last year, both in the field and at bat. But he's a good baseball player. He was injured last year, and he might surprise a few people. And he might club 20 home runs this year. And how about Bryson Stott, that rookie? My gosh, what he did in Clearwater this year. And then I think our starting rotation is people might be taking for granted. Mm-hmm. But if everybody's healthy, we could have a pretty good one. And I think what Dave Dombrowski's done, by bringing in Kyle Schwarber and Nick Castellanos and Jeurys Familia and Brad Hand in the bullpen. I mean, we have a stronger bullpen. Corey Knebel, will be the closer. This is a good baseball team. And I think they are certainly poised to end that playoff drought that started 10 years ago.
I'm with you, Dan. I think they definitely snap that drought. I think they end that drought, and I say they compete for the division. I don't care about them Atlanta Braves.
I'm with you.
There you go. I just heard you say some of the new names like Bryson Stott, Nick Castellanos, Kyle Schwarber. Can I be so bold, Dan Baker? Can I be so bold as to? Can you give us a little taste of that, Nick Castellanos name and how Dan Baker's going to say it? Bryson Stott, how Dan Baker's going to say it at Citizens Bank Park?
Now batting for the Phillies, number 8, designated hitter Nick Castellanos.
Oh my goodness. I am ready. I'm going to buy season tickets now. I'm going to get season tickets. I need to hear that voice. That is electricity. Is there, oh, you know what? Can I ask for Bryson Stott, but most likely a third baseman?
I'm not even sure of Bryson's number yet. I don't have a number in.
You're right. Probably change it coming to it. Yeah, you're right.
Now batting for the Phillies, shortstop Bryson Stott. Of course, it also could be now batting for the Phillies, third baseman Bryson Stott.
The Phillies like to move guys around, so why don't we just cover every bit? No, I was kidding. That's great, Dan. That just gave me chills. No doubt. Oh, that just gave me chills. It's so great. Is there a name, and I know you get this question a lot, but I feel like I'm obligated to ask you, is there a name in your 50 seasons that people, when they see you, when they meet you, they always ask for? Like, is there a number one name that people want you to say?
Well, it's usually one of the polysyllabic names because you can, the names with multiple syllables, Mark, allow you to do a more melodic interpretation. Now batting for the Phillies, number 12, second baseman Mickey Morandini.
That is incredible. Is that Mickey calling you on the phone right now? Being like, yeah, that was great. Way to nail it.
I did a radio show with Mickey Monday night, and he's just terrific. And people respond to him. He was a good ball player. He's a wonderful ambassador for the team now. And of course, he's coached for the Phillies in the minor leagues and at the big league level. We have so many good baseball people, from our history and who are still connected with the club. Hey, Larry Boa, Charlie Manuel, my goodness.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. Dan, I think I've told you the story personally when we've spoken, but to put it out there, I'll never forget when I was in college, my buddy Sean Casey met you on the subway to the game, and he was going down early. I think he was working at a pizza shop in the ballpark and all. And he came back and he's like, "You're not going to believe who I met." And I go, "Who?" And he goes, "Dan Baker." I go, "No way. Dan Baker's not taking the subway," whatever it was. And he goes, "No, we were on the subway and he saw I had a Phillies hat and we started talking. And then it clicked, like that voice. He said a name. You didn't put stank on it. You didn't announce it, but you said the name and you're like, wait a minute, Dan Baker." And he just said that you couldn't have been a nicer guy. You wanted to talk baseball, and people, when they meet people like you, they're not sure if that's what you want to talk about because you talk about it a lot. And he just said that you were the nicest guy in the world. And here I am, many years later, I admit, where I'm getting a chance to get to know you. I have gotten to know you over the years. And, man, if you're not the nicest guy you could ever come across, Dan Baker, you deserve every accolade you get in the years you've been, letting us hear the sports of Philadelphia. You have been our voice, my friend, and you deserve everything that comes your way over your 50th season of calling the games down there on the PA at CBP.
Thank you very much, Mark. Again, I have so much to be thankful for. And, when I hear those fans cheer, boy, it just energizes me, and of course, when the Phillies are rallying, I'll try to, use a little more enthusiasm myself to encourage that fan involvement in a positive way. But the other people in the business, like yourself, with whom I've made friends over all these years, and everybody has been really helpful. I can't think, we always run into somebody, human chemistry being what it is, there's going to be people that like us and people that don't like us. But I must say, I've been very, very fortunate. I've met so many nice people, and I could count on one hand the number of bad people that, it's just life is to be enjoyed. And being here in Philadelphia, there's no place I'd rather be. And with all these teams, the Phillies, the Eagles, the Sixers, the Flyers, the Union, the Big Five, Drexel, our Division II and III school. Man, what a place to be. We have the Jersey Shore not too far away.
and now you got Mako Pizza in the ballpark. Look at that.
Yes.
What would Whitey do if he was still with us today? Then get pizzas delivered to the booth every day from Mako and Mako's probably.
Yeah. Well, he was loyal to Celebrys. So
he was. That's true. The Celebrys twins. We all know. All know.
Yeah.
Dan, I can't thank you enough for coming on with me, man. And if you would humor us for just a second, we are you a TikTok guy? You don't have a TikTok account, do you?
No.
Well, we just started ours. We got 1,000, and we wanted the followers. It's very early in our TikTok stages. Would you be so kind as to thank some of our TikTok followers on that account for the Farzy Show?
I would be happy to, Mark.
Oh, you spoil me, my friend. You spoil me. I know you like to play. I know you're a funny guy, so I figured you could have some fun with this. If you wouldn't mind, Dan Baker, great voice of Philadelphia.
The Farzy Show would like to thank Clint Flynn, Shane B425, Nate Alvarez, 1007, Ben G65, Professor Dutch 84, Mr. Sicka de Face, Dummy Thick Alex, User 158 123 4326 157. Username 10D. Stinkfoot. Soup Days 21. And Fortnite Clips 673X.
Oh my goodness, the great Dan Baker. Oh my, just mid-season form already, my friend. Good Lord.
Thanks, Mark.
Dan, you sound amazing. You look great, buddy. I can't wait to hear you at Citizen Bank Park. Like I said, nobody deserves the accolades that you're going to get, that someone like you is going to get over the course of a 50th season being the PA announcer for any team. So you deserve everything, my friend. Couldn't happen to a better guy. And we are honored to have you as a guest of the Farzy Show.
Thank you, Mark. Best of luck to you, Mark Farzetta, the Farzy Show.
Year is made now. Thank you so much. Dan Baker, ladies and gentlemen, joining us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. That turned out so much better than I thought it ever would. Oh my goodness. Dan Baker, ladies and gentlemen. How do you not love that man? Dan Baker wants to play. Like, that's the thing. Like, I got as much reverence for Dan Baker as much as the next person, but like, those guys want to play. They're performers. And I met Dan, the first time I met Dan face to face was some years ago, 8 years ago or so. And I was at a charity event, Home Runs for Hearts. And the job he did announcing people that went to the plate to hit home runs was just like insane. It was awesome. And I was like, wait a minute, if I go to this event, Dan Baker says my name and I walk to the plate, what? And that was an incredible experience. And then I met him, I talked to him. He, like, it's so awesome when someone you grow up knowing and like idolizing and just thinking it was great. And like, I've always been like voices, like unique voices have always really jumped out to me and resonated. There was a guy named Rex Barney when I'd go to Oriole games with my mom and my dad and my grandfather, as I've mentioned many times, as an usher there. when I was growing up. There was a guy named Rex Barney, who was the PA announcer for the Orioles. He used to be a pitcher in Major League Baseball. And he used to have this really unique "thank you" that he'd always say at the end of any announcement. It was great. Or give that fan a contract, if they catch a foul ball. And Dan Baker is that, obviously, and tenfold, because he's been doing it for so long and we've grown up with that voice. But when someone you grew up idolizing, you meet them and they know you, like, oh yeah, I've heard you. Hey, how are you? And you talk, and it's like, oh God, Dan Baker knows my name. Like, it's just the funniest thing. And the guy could not be more humble. And somebody said it in the chat, and you're exactly right. Like, I'm lavishing praise on this man because it's what he deserves. And he's like, hey, Fran Dunphy's great, isn't he? And I'm like, no, Dan, we're talking about you. Yes, Fran's great. Dump's great. Love Dump. Dump's awesome. But you, sir, are the man of the hour. And he's just that type of guy. He's doing what he loves to do, and that's all he needs. That's the only reward. That's the only praise he needs. He doesn't even require the praise. He's just, I'm doing what I love to do. I'm a blessed man. Life is to be enjoyed. I know that him saying Nick Castellanos or Bryson Stott, or even giving me chills selfishly by saying my name, like, what stuck out with me is life is to be enjoyed. Dan Baker, one of the best. And by the way, don't think I sat here and edited up a whole lineup of him naming TikTok people. And April, I think I saw you say it. We did not just make him say bot names, and we did. But don't think that I didn't do all those sound effects without dressing up the Nick Castellanos. And that's coming up right after this. Let me tell you about the great people of Rothman Orthopedics, ladies and gentlemen. Remember the old you? The one that didn't have to put up with a fickle knee, a finicky hip, or a shoulder that no longer does what a shoulder should do? The Rothman approach to orthopedics is here to get you back to being you, back to running, back to walking, back to working, back to playing, back to living your life the way you want. With same-day appointments available, you can start today at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. Rothman Orthopedics, the official orthopedic partner of your Eagles, Phillies, and Sixers. That's RothmanOrtho.com. How about the amazing people of Windview, the only game where fans can take on other fans and end the debate once and for all? Who is the biggest sports fan? You have those friends and family members who think they know everything about sports? Challenge them to a Windview contest, see if they can walk the walk, as well as they talk the talk. Maybe play them in a little basketball. Make predictions on the games that you love so much and win real money prizes against those friends and family members that think they know everything. It's not a sports book, though. It's not daily fantasy. It's a social gaming app where fans can take on other fans and end the debate once and for all. Who is the bigger sports fan? So do what I do. Download the Windview app and have yourself a good time. How about PHL Sports Station, Philadelphia Sports Station, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's PHLSportsNation.com. Ladies and gentlemen, let's before we get into the chat check, I just want to drop this on you guys right now. Wanted to dress up the audio a little bit, and obviously didn't want to use the same thing as what we had used before with the thing, the Dan Baker thanks TikTok, right? So without further ado, I'm going to give you guys a little bit something different here. This is Dan Baker dressed up. This is the dressed up version of Dan Baker's Nick Castellanos for your own enjoyment.
Now batting for the Phillies, number 8, designated hitter, Nick Castellanos.
Just fantastic. Just fantastic. Just injected into my veins, as the kids like to say. Thanks to Dan Baker for just wanting to play. Thanks to Dan Baker for just wanting to play. Let's jump into our chat check, see how the good people are doing. Some remnants of my espresso my quadruple espresso that I didn't spill all over the damn place before the show started. Dan Schwartz, good morning, Dan Schwartz. Mally, what's going on? Now batting for the Phillies. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. That's Dan Schwartz, I'm thanking. Dan Schwartz, good morning to Mally. Guapo! Hello again, Guapo. John Cheeseborough, what's up, John? Nice to have you. Cecil, what's poppin', Cecil? Al, what's going on? Nice to have you. Dan Baker loves you, Cecil. Dan Baker loves everybody. He's the kindest human being. Jacob Creed, Says Dan Baker's a legend. You're absolutely right. Brian Newman, good morning. Dan, hello again. Dan Baker, huge TikTok guy, according to Dan Schwartz. Alyssa, what's going on, Alyssa? Everyone's saying hello to Alyssa. That's nice. Dan, hey, the other JC, that should also be honored on Easter. Folks, I don't usually read to myself the comments and then read them aloud. I just kind of read them aloud to the class immediately. But anyway, yeah, happy Easter coming up. How about that? What am I missing? Mally, Dan, Mally, John, Sean Gillespie. I can't even wait. Hold on. What the hell? I can't believe vaccination potentially could factor into more Sixers woes. Damn, says Sean Gillespie. Yeah, that's where we're at. If you have Twitter, I'll send you a pic. What did we send pictures of? What happened? Jim Grassmeter, what's up, buddy? Mike Casey, what's going on, Mike? Kevin, how are you? Mark, what's going on? I think Mark Langer is insinuating that I should get PJ, the greatest producer ever, a creamsicle gold dip rose. You want one, Jim? I got you. The GOAT, I'm assuming that's to Dan Baker. Alyssa, Dan Baker! Exclamation points. Legend! Jim Grassmeter. Sean, Dan Baker, 51 seasons, incredible. Al, give me Dan Baker all day. Zach Hoying saying he's unbelievable. He's a Philly staple. I mean, when you walk into Citizens Bank Park and you hear that voice, it's summertime. And in a lot of ways, it's walking on the beach and hearing Harry Callis. Like, that's what it is. I've talked to you guys before about things that make me feel like a kid all over again. You know, Ken Griffey Jr.'s swing, like watching that, being in awe of that as a kid. I'm talking about like being 10 years old, right? Like 9, 10 years old, hearing Harry Callis's voice on the beach. John Kruk in any 93 Phillies highlight. That makes me feel. Petey Cavilla in any 93 Phillies highlight makes me feel like that. Larry Anderson on the mound for that team makes me feel like a kid again watching those highlights. Those types of things always make me feel like a little kid. And Dan Baker and that voice, without question, I'm 10 years old all over again. And I am fighting my way through the turnstile, through the crowd, into the vet. What's that smell? And then I'm back in my seat. I get to my seat with my dad, and, we watch a ball game. It's the greatest thing. It's the absolute greatest thing. Baseball sucks. Phillies are still great. All right. That's still where my stance is at from the lockout. Dan Baker is the man that would find a quarter. Jacob, this was great. I saw this earlier. Jacob Creed says, Dan Baker is a man that would find a quarter on the ground and return it to the police station. That is so true. What's the Honest Abe story? A woman bought groceries from him and gave too much money, and he returned her change. Walked 7 miles uphill both ways to return her change. But Dan is that guy. Jacob, the classiest, absolutely. Sean, hello. April, that man's voice doesn't get old. April, like, it just gets better and better. Hannah, good morning. John, Phillies had some great announcers and voices of sports. We really have been blessed. Like, I can't remember the guy's name, but I've talked to Cardinals fans about him. He's a Cardinals announcer. And I listen to this guy and I think, no way. No, this guy's an announcer. Like, if you ever hear Will Ferrell, I may have told you guys before, but when he was on the Smartless podcast, Will Ferrell told a story about how he started the Harry Carey impression. And he said he was actually living in LA. He was driving around and would have Cub games on the radio. And he said that he heard this guy just sound completely out of his mind. I won't tell the exact story Will Ferrell told, but it was something along the lines of, this guy can't swing because he's just too damn fat. And it's like, what? This guy's an announcer? Like a real announcer? Like, if he's not your guy, I guess you miss that kind of thing where like, oh, I don't get it. This guy doesn't appeal to me. And I don't get it because Harry Callis appealed to everybody. And proof of that is like his work with NFL Films, for instance. Like, that's just the guy that is everyone understands, everyone gets, and there's a mass appeal. But then you listen to these other guys with these colloquialisms, and you're like, what? What is this guy? I don't get it. But Dan Baker certainly is that guy that has mass appeal, could do it anywhere. He's just that beloved, and we have been absolutely blessed with guys like him in our city doing fantastic jobs at what they do. Jim's listing them off. Baker, Zoom off, Callis, Reese. Doesn't get much better than that. No, it absolutely doesn't. They better put him on the Phillies Hall of Fame wall whenever, or whatever it's called. Andrew, you're right. They got to put him on there now if he's not already. Gives me chills to hear the voice every single time. Sean says Dan's been doing his job for as long as I've been alive. That's funny. He's a freaking gem. Alyssa, spot on. Yep. And he talked about his health issues with me. He's talked about him. I talked about him, I want to say a year ago with Bob Brookover of Inquirer.com. But that's it pretty much. But he sounds great, man. He sounds great. He's on a full road to recovery. He looks like $1 million damn. I want Dan to tuck me in at night and read me a bedtime story. Matt, I'm sure he'll do that. Matt had an idea that we should just have Dan Baker say mean things. I think he'd do it too. What do I always say about Philly fans? Philly fans will tell you that your butt looks big. Dan Baker, your butt looks big. There you go. Matt Snell, freaking chills. Alyssa chills. Yes, kick-ass interview. That's very nice, Fuji. Thank you. Laugh out loud. Pitcher Bryson Stott. Yeah, 2 words I don't know what they mean. Oh, what did he say? Polysyllabic. Yeah, his terminology was taking me back to Radio 101 in college, like broadcast performance 101 in college. Put stank on his name. Real time. Good morning, you bastards. Glorious morning. Morning, real time. Oh, there he is. Matt Snell. Farzy, try to get Dan Baker to say something bad about anyone. Impossible. Dan Baker's the type of guy that gets lasagna at a restaurant placed in front of him and didn't order the lasagna, but doesn't want to call the waiter out on his mistake. And then he just has himself some lasagna. I guess I'm having lasagna. The line just came to me. These changes for my dinner, now eating lasagna. That's terrible impression. Sorry. This is amazing. One of the only reasons to be on TikTok as an adult. Oh, okay. Oh, this show. Thank you. I appreciate that now. Best thing ever. That was epic. Glad you guys enjoyed the TikTok. Thanks. Best interview. Alyssa, I'm glad you like it. Avnet Aurora. Am I saying that right? Nice. Thank you. Luigi, Dan is a legend. You're damn right he is. Oh, I see what he said. Luigi says Dan is the legend. He is not a legend. Here's what came to mind. The phrase, guard this man at all costs, or he's a treasure and all that. Stop guarding everybody else. Guard Dan Baker. Everybody else is a nice treasure. Dan is the crown jewel. Okay? There we go. Dan Baker can announce my name at my funeral. I might have to get back up and tip my cap. Real time? Now that'd be a sight to see. Glad you enjoyed that. It's our time, Philly. Julian, what's going on? Real time. If you sit up at your own funeral, I think a point will be taken, says John Cheeseborough. Gunner was a good one, definitely. Don't think we forgot about the extended Farzy show during draft week, John. Gunner was a great one, absolutely. Hey, by the way, we just had Gunner on. They're going to be starting a new midday show over my friends over there at Jacob Media. Rob Ellis. Congrats to Rob, one of the best guys you could ever meet, most knowledgeable guy I've ever met about Philadelphia sports. Rube, Gunner, and Barrett Brooks. And I guess they just weren't ready to drop the knowledge yet, but Derek didn't mention it. So anyway, congratulations to those guys. They're going to be starting a new show, The Take, as part of Jacob Media, 12 to 3 over there on their YouTube channel. So that's awesome. Happy for those guys. Wait, the kids just say injected it into my veins? I'm out of the loop, Dan. I don't know. Whenever I say a phrase that's way too cool or popular or in the now, then my idiot boomer mindset thinks. I just say like the kids say. I had to write a story recently. I was doing some writing, and I wrote a story recently where I had to say I didn't have to, but it just came to me and I couldn't not do it. It was like, this one, as the kids say, just hits different. What's the Steve Buscemi gif? Hey, what's up, fellow kids? Yeah. All right, understood. We have a 5-6 correspondent. Oh, April, yeah, we'll get a listen as a correspondent. Oh, Alyssa might be MIA next week. See, Alyssa, I had some high hopes here because I saw MIA and I thought you were going to Miami, like a little weekend, a little trip next week, but you got spring break, so you're going to be MIA, missing in action next week. You won't be up so early. We'll miss you. We will miss you. Hopefully, by the time you're back, Matisse Thybulle is fully vaccinated. Huh? Yeah. Anyway, enjoy yourself, Alyssa. Zach, how you doing? Dan wants photo evidence of PJ, producer Jim, holding the creamsicle. We'll get that done. Philly Sports Talk Podcast. What's going on, guys? How you doing? Scoozy. Could have Dan do the weather. He'd take that over having a weather girl. Luigi, I'm not. Maybe he'd probably do it. Let's see here. This chat's jumping around on me. Not you guys, subject. I mean physically. Maybe from when I spilled liquid on it. Scoozy. Yeah, there we go. Let's see here. Yeah, you guys were awesome. There we go. Thanks to everyone in the chat. You guys are fantastic as per usual. You guys bring it every day. God bless each and every one of you. God bless each and every one of you. There we go. Let's get into our morning rush. Brought to us Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. Sixers back in action tonight, ladies and gentlemen, as they go for their win over the Toronto Raptors. They are in Toronto tonight, 7:30 start time. It is come of news as of late that the Sixers will not have Matisse Thybulle for tonight's game because he is unavailable. And what most people are taking that as, he is not vaccinated. That's what the that's what the story is, allegedly, that he's not vaccinated. 7:30 tip-off tonight. Toronto is actually a -1.5 point favorite over the Sixers. Sixers going for their 50th win of the season. So let's cross our fingers that they're able to do that. We could take in some Major League Baseball throughout the day today, so that'll be fun. And then the Phillies will be on the diamond tomorrow afternoon in South Philadelphia as they take on the A's, which will kick off their season. And I mentioned it already, but yes, tomorrow afternoon, 3:05 start time. Aaron Nola will be on the bump. That was after the Phillies took care of business 9-2 over the Rays yesterday in their final tune-up, so to speak, of spring training. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. I leave you with this.
Now batting for the Phillies, number 8, designated hitter Nick Castellanos.
Just so good. It feels so good. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Talk to you guys tomorrow and get you real ready for spring training. We're expecting Michael Barkan tomorrow to get us ready for the season. All the games that'll be on NBC Sports Philadelphia. My dear friend Michael Barkan will join the show. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Take it easy.